First of all, let me thank you all for watching our presentation today about paperless report processing, which can dramatically improve data management by allowing you to export your IBM I-Series, and AS400 reports to PDF and Excel. We'll look at a couple different methods for achieving this, so you can quickly determine which is quickest and easiest for your requirements. Today's high-tech business environment offers a variety of alternatives to printing and manually distributing hard copy reports. The IBM is a stable, secure platform, but many users regard it as old-fashioned, perhaps unaware of the tremendous power under the hood. For their part, users want to be able to get reports in user-friendly formats like spreadsheets and PDF without having to go to the IT department to request them. DRV has been helping IBM shops like yours since 2002. With easy-to-use solutions that we call Flex Tools. If you're familiar with paper-based manual processing, you'll recognize this simplified, labor-intensive workflow. Paperless reporting enables electronic distribution and archiving, which not only reduces printing and distribution costs, but also delivers critical data to people faster in a format they can use immediately. This graphic illustrates the evolution of process management, reducing or eliminating paper printing and moving to digital output. This process can be incremental, allowing you to ease into a new but vastly more efficient management of the entire life cycle of reports and documents. This first webinar of the series will focus on Phase 1, that is, converting IBM I reports to digital formats. First, let's define some IBM printing terminology. To create printed output, a program or utility, like a financial package, ERP, or a homegrown application, will generate output data. When you print a report, it goes to a printer file, which contains the attributes the printed output will have, such as formatting, page size, etc. The IBM operating system uses output queues, which are like a bucket temporarily holding print files from various programs, which can stack up until they're ready to print, like standing in a queue. These are often called out queues. Each item in the out queue represents a report or spooled file, formatted and ready to be printed. A print writer is a program that sends the spool file to a physical printer, and it may be set up to monitor the out queue and verifies the spool files are the correct form type for the printer and that the status is ready. And it handles the communication between the system and the printer. It's here, at this point in the out queue, that we can intercept the spool file and bypass the print writer and the printed page. All right, now let's look at some options on how to process paperless reports. First, let's look at some manual ways that you can get IBM I reports into digital formats. Using a tool like Navigator, you can access the IBM out queues, and reports can be manually dragged over to your PC as a text or CSV file and then imported into Excel. Now, I got to be honest, I did this recently with a report that had 300 records in it, and it took me a long time. It took me over 4 hours to manually import it into Excel because the data was all over the place. It just wasn't formatted for Excel. This is a common issue with IBM I spool files. I had to cut and paste almost every record just to get them into the correct cells. Now granted, it's not rocket science and it doesn't require any programming skills, but it does require authority, and processing this way is slow and it can compromise the data integrity. Formatting issues will vary with the complexity of the report, but common issues include combining all of the data into a single cell in a single column, but those can be cut and pasted into the separate columns as you need. Negative signs, unfortunately, sometimes translate incorrectly. The IBM I likes to put them on one side, and Excel is expecting it on the other side of the number, so sometimes it just gives up. It drops it. Manual processing like this, with cutting and pasting, it's not only time intensive, but it really opens you up to human error. And it may not be the best way to get the report into Excel, but it may be just a shade better than keying all the data in manually. There's also some custom programs that you can set up to do this, but they can be kind of slow for anything but pretty small reports, plus the expertise it takes to set them up. For a large report, the amount of time to manually import can be really significant. I worked with a telco recently that spent 3 weeks trying to get a 300-page report into Excel. That's one report, 3 weeks. That's just simply not efficient. Now, exporting files to PDF is a whole other issue. Now, some people use server-based solutions, and they print using a PDF driver, now, which can be really slow, but it can be done. But when you have another, then you have another server to purchase and maintain. One of our clients actually was doing this with a daily report. It was about 50,000 pages long, and it took between 5 to 6 hours to process it every single time. If you have an IBM system, why not maximize the investment in that system that you already have? Now, if you're running IBM OS v6.1 or later, you can use the IBM product called Transform Services to output to PDF instead of a spool file. Unfortunately, again, it may not be all that user-friendly to everyone, but you be the judge. First, you have to check to see if the product's loaded. This product, I think it's something like 5770 TS1 or 1S1, something like that. If it's not installed, you'll need to contact your IBM system admin to check with IBM to see if you already have it on a disk, or you may need to apply a PTF. Once it's installed, you'll key in commands and parameters on the command line that specify the printer file name, the device type, the directory location to send the PDF to, and then specify the customizing object as *PDF. And this should work fine if you have authority, and hit enter. This would be done every time you want to report in PDF, but it is free. Now, I'm sure you can add these commands to a custom programming too, but I'm not a programmer, so I'm not really sure how to show you how to do that. I don't write CLs. And I think using a programmer's time for something like this on every single report you want paperless would not be a really good use of resources. I see more posts on the IBM mid-range blogs by senior programmers troubleshooting this and also send distribution for emailing. It just boggles the mind how much time and resources are wasted trying to figure some of these things out. Seriously, if these techniques don't sound very easy or really even feasible for an average user, I think we're in agreement. Fortunately for the rest of us, there's something easier. There are inexpensive, off-the-shelf solutions available that let you convert IBM I reports to digital formats, including spreadsheets and PDF, the easy way. With off-the-shelf solutions, you don't have to reinvent the wheel and waste resources developing something in-house. I speak to programmers every day that develop their own in-house solutions, and my hats are off to them. They've done some real interesting work, but I marvel at why they would bother when they could obtain something that is totally versatile, does more than the programs that they set up for almost any scenario for a fraction of the cost. Today we're going to look at an example called SpoolFlex. It's native IBM I software that converts directly to digital formats without programming, application modifications, or a PhD in computer science. SpoolFlex can digitize spool files directly to a variety of electronic formats, including those you see here. The most popular, by far, are PDF and Excel. Because SpoolFlex runs natively on the IBM system, you can have a standardized method to export reports without the disadvantages of PC-based solutions, such as per-user licensing and additional hardware and operating system incompatibilities when Windows changes its OS. Off-the-shelf solutions like SpoolFlex are menu-driven, so you don't have to worry about remembering commands or keying the wrong parameters. And if you ever need help, you can call on the vendor for technical assistance. Try that with IBM. With just a couple of keystrokes, you can go from this spooled output to this perfectly formatted spreadsheet that requires no further tweaking. Colorizing and highlighting make analysis easier. All of this adds up to a standardized conversion method that's providing reliable output data and a tremendous time savings. Now, we've all seen PowerPoint, so let's take a look and see what we're looking at here. I'll actually show you an example. Here we are. This is a workout queue screen. I think everybody's familiar with that. It's a great way to get in and find a spool file quickly. Here's a report. This is a sales report, and we'll take a look at this. It's just a simple report, as you can see. Now, if I wanted to, say, send this to somebody, with SpoolFlex loaded on the system using 6.1 or higher, I could just use a SpoolFlex command to email. When I hit enter, it's going to come up with requesting an email address and a subject. The default will send it as PDF. With 2 keystrokes, I just converted that spool file to PDF, and I emailed it to myself. It even gave me a little notification down here. Let's try something else while we're here. I'm going to put a C on the same report. C is our convert command, and when I hit enter, it's going to ask me what output type I want. And SpoolFlex can output Excel, PDF, CSV, HTML, Word document, text, even XML. Let's choose Excel. We'll just leave the name file name and the path. It'll put this out in the directory in the IFS, but we could also push it out to a server if we wanted to. It's going to ask me some formatting information. Do I want to retain my columns or my report heading and column heading, and what kind of an analysis to run? I'm just going to hit enter here, let it run its analysis, and it's going to process this report. It's actually going to open Excel on my desktop and launch the spreadsheet that it just created. That's pretty good. You can see the negative numbers are correctly formatted. I can now sort this. I can add calculations. Let's go check my email. Come back over here to, yeah, there's my email that I just got. Double click on that PDF. If it opens up, as PDF will work. And there you can see side by side the same report in both PDF and Excel. In less time than it takes me to explain how to convert a report using IBM's command to PDF, I've converted this report to both formats. Let's go back to the presentation. Now, one of the things that these other solutions, the manual solutions, don't do a good job at is formatting, whereas SpoolFlex excels at formatting. For example, spreadsheets. You can not only output the spreadsheets, but you can choose these options to format the spreadsheet so it's perfect every time you generate it. These are some of the options, including orientation, including or excluding data or headings, powerful dynamic naming and streaming capability for advanced archiving capabilities without an expensive proprietary document management system. Let's look at an example. Here's that same file we were just looking at. The simple sales report converted to Excel. If I wanted to add formatting, voila. You can see a pretty dramatic difference. Now this is coming directly off the IBM i. There's no PC component involved except for the Excel running on my system that is displaying it. I now have the ability to come in and sort. I can add calculations. But I can also do some other neat things still on the IBM i. Before it even generates this spool file, with some simple exclusion operands, I can trim down hundreds of pages to a single one-page summary to get to the bottom line faster. And with robust formatting capabilities, SpoolFlex can handle even complex financial reports like this P&L statement. Now, this color highlighting is all stored in a template that we call an output definition, stored in the software that you can use like a cookie cutter over and over again. These same kind of formatting options are also available for PDF, allowing you to produce really sophisticated reports right there on the IBM i. For example, we saw a moment ago that PDF. Well, we can also add some color highlighting as well. This SpoolFlex retains the printer file attributes. We have a unique capability. We can convert a PDF report with SpoolFlex and convert that PDF back into an IBM i spool file. To my knowledge, we're the only application in the world that can do that. It's a pretty interesting application. Now you can see, again, dramatic results as we emulate Greenbar. So many people are just hooked on Greenbar. Well, this is an 8.5 cut sheet paper. It just looks like Greenbar for those people that are used to it. It does make it a little easier to read, so that's nice too. And we can also go one step further if you wanted to add images. We can also add images so that you can spruce up reports with your company logo, or if you wanted to use a very simplified electronic form approach, you can also add forms if you wanted to. This is probably not the preferred method because I prefer electronic form solution for that. We have a product called FormFlex that does that. But for the budget conscious, this is a simple, easy way to get started, to get your feet wet with electronic forms. And as you can see, when you have paperless reports, electronic copies can be stored on a file server for easy company-wide access. If they're text-based, like the PDFs and files created by SpoolFlex, they're text searchable, and you can quickly locate them using something as simple as Windows Explorer. You can even key in specific tags to locate the specific file you're looking for. Archiving this way has traditionally required expensive proprietary document management solutions where you have to index fields and output to TIFF files, which are good, but it's probably overkill for most of us. If you think you're ready to evolve a paperless reporting environment, the first step is to take a look at your current reporting processing and identify some ways that you could benefit from paperless reporting. For example, do you want to reduce paper usage? Do you want to provide access to critical data faster? What reports could be converted to paperless formats, and which users would benefit the most? Would it be sales reports? Would it be accounting? Obviously, the people that sign the checks, making them happy is a great idea. So if you can get the financial reports into Excel spreadsheets, that's going to open up some eyes. And it's certainly going to change some attitudes and opinions about how powerful the IBM I is. Also think about which would you want to tackle first. Are there some reports that are more painful than others to process? Once you've selected a handful of reports, even just one or two, arrange a demonstration for you and your team to see if there's enough justification for buy-in of the concept. I found these kind of online demonstrations where you have everybody in a kind of a group discussion really beneficial. It really helps to flesh out some of the problems and bottlenecks that people may not know even exist until they start the conversation. If there is enough justification, you can obtain a free trial of the software so you can evaluate it with your own reports, and you can also see what it's like to work with that software provider. You should be able to quickly determine whether the software will do what you want without investing a lot of time and resources. In our next webinar in the webinar series, we'll look at how paperless reports can be delivered with automated paperless report distribution. Setting up automated paperless distribution like this, you can set it up so that the software is fully automated. Everything that you've seen today would be fully automated to work seamlessly in the background without programming, and you still have the ability to locate and distribute reports ad hoc as we've done today. Automation, or automating this full-flex software, takes automation and modernization to the next level, turning your AS400 or IBM I into an intelligent industrial robot that converts and delivers your business-critical data in real time. Automated paperless reporting will be covered in the next series in 2 weeks, so be sure to sign up after this webcast if you have not already, when an follow-up email will be sent with a link. Thank you for joining us today. This has been a high-level introductory presentation to our webinar series. I hope you've enjoyed it and maybe learned a little bit about how to go paperless. We will be opening the floor for questions and answers in just a moment. But as you leave, I would ask you to reply back. Let us know and give us some feedback if you would like to see a longer webinar, a shorter webinar, or if it was just right.